Welcome to Dreamy Tales, a place where gentle, relaxing stories will guide you into a deep sleep. On this channel, we'll be sharing soothing stories to help you unwind and forget the worries of the day. If you enjoy these peaceful moments, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you won't miss any of our bedtime tales. Let's create a space of relaxation together each night. Now, before we dive into tonight's story, let's take a few moments to relax your body and mind. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Gently close your eyes and take a deep breath. Inhale slowly, feeling the fresh air filling your lungs, and slowly exhale, letting the tension in your body gradually melt away. Repeat this 3 more times. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more relaxed and ready to enter the magical world of stories. Now, loosen your shoulders, gently massage your face, and release any remaining tension. Pay attention to any areas in your body that still feel tight, maybe in your neck, back, or legs, and gently let them relax. Next, we'll do a short guided visualization. Imagine yourself in a beautiful garden under the night sky, with the soft moonlight shining down. You can hear the rustling of leaves in the breeze, the sound of water flowing gently in the distance. Feel the cool breeze brushing against your face. Now that your body and mind are relaxed, let's step into tonight's story. But before we begin, remind yourself that you deserve these moments of relaxation, and let go of all worries as you listen to each word. And now, as you are fully relaxed, let's begin our journey into tonight's tale. Allow my words to guide you into a world of dreams and serenity. Relax and listen slowly. It has been countless ages since the 5 siblings last gathered. Time, in its vast and unyielding sweep, has carried away all traces of their early lives. No one can say for certain how many rulers have risen and fallen in their wake, nor how many floods have swept the Nile from its banks in their absence. All those moments, all those years, are nothing but dust in the great river of history. They were mere kittens when last they saw each other. Born from the same mother, their beginnings were humble. 5 tiny souls cradled together in a shared nest. Their mother, a majestic creature, nursed each of them with equal care, her rough tongue gently cleaning their tiny bodies from the tips of their ears to the very ends of their tails. When they bickered and fought, she would lift them by the scruff of their necks, separating them with a firm yet loving touch. Those were simple times, innocent times, but that was long ago. Time has a way of changing things, shaping them into forms unrecognizable from their beginnings. Bustit's children, now far from the playful kittens of their youth, have each grown into something far greater than they could have ever imagined. Yet the past remains, lingering like the scent of milk on the air, unspoken but undeniable. They now gather in the heart of their mother's sacred temple, deep within the land of Egypt. The temple itself is a marvel, nestled on the banks of the great Nile, with its sacred waters curling around it like a protective embrace. The walls inside the temple are adorned with intricate hieroglyphs, painted in vibrant reds, greens, and golds, depicting the gods and the stories of their reigns. Alabaster statues and finely crafted figurines of Bastet herself line the chambers, serving as both guardians and symbols of divine power. Towering columns stretch high into the air, supporting the weight of the ceiling, while the stone walls, thick and unyielding, stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time. Yet, despite the magnificence of the temple, The noise from outside is never far off. The city is alive with the sounds of celebration. The people have gathered for a grand festival, singing and dancing in the streets, their faces painted in the likeness of the gods they worship. Smoke from incense curls into the air, thickening the atmosphere with the sacred haze. The procession of the pharaoh is imminent, making its way toward the temple in a solemn and quiet manner, carried upon a barge that glides across the still surface of the Nile. The procession is a grand one, as befitting the ruler of Egypt, but for now, Bousted's children have time to reflect on their past, their power, and the duties that have brought them here. And then, one by one, they begin to emerge from the shadows of the temple, each of them stepping forward in their own time, their own way. First, to step into the light is Iset. She never misses an opportunity to shine. With her long legs and wide, expressive eyes, she moves with an undeniable elegance, each step as fluid as the dance of Hena. She carries herself with an air of authority, her body poised as if she were the center of a grand stage. Her presence demands attention, even without a single word. Next comes Mahis, the eldest among them, a figure of strength and vigilance. His lean, muscular form is the very image of a predator, his eyes always alert, sharp as the keenest blade. His ears twitch with every sound, his senses honed to perfection. With a low, dangerous hiss, he directs his gaze toward Iset, but she merely flicks her tail dismissively in response. Harmon is the third to appear, his fur impeccably groomed, particularly around his head, where it forms a mane-like halo that resembles a lion's mane in miniature. His eyes blink slowly as he lowers himself, resting his head on his forepaws, a peaceful and contemplative figure amidst the tension of the others. He carries a serene aura with him, untouched by the struggles or competition that drive his siblings. Then, Hutiru enters, her movements slow and deliberate. She is calm and patient, her nose twitching as she takes in the scent of her siblings, each one familiar and yet distant, like echoes of a forgotten past. Her tail sways with a quiet rhythm as she finds her place among them. There is something maternal about her presence, a quiet strength that speaks of nurturing and protection. Finally, there is Serapis, the smallest of them all. While the others stand tall, poised, and ready, Serapis moves with a quiet humility, his presence almost unnoticed at first. He settles into the corner of the room, curling up with a quiet dignity, as if to observe rather than participate. It is almost as if he had forgotten his place among them. Or perhaps it is his place that has been forgotten. These 5 wildcats, the children of Busted, now stand together once again in the temple. They are no longer the small, helpless kittens they once were, but mighty beings in their own right, each one a reflection of their mother's power and grace. Yet, despite their growth, they still carry within them the bonds of siblinghood, the shared experiences of their youth. But in the blink of an eye, something changes. The wildcats are gone, replaced by 5 humans, each tall and dark, each with an unmistakable feline grace. They move as one, with the same shared understanding, a silent communication that transcends words. There is no need for speech between them. Each knows why they have come, what their purpose is. Their mother, Boustet, has called them. The pharaoh is nearing the temple, and he requires an escort to the afterlife. Only Bousted's children can lead him to the field of offerings, but the question remains, who among them is worthy of such an honor? Bastet, with all her wisdom, cannot decide. It is left to each of them to prove their worth, to convince their mother that they are the ones who should guide the pharaoh's soul. Iset is the first to speak. She steps forward, her eyes gleaming with a confidence that borders on arrogance. There is a hypnotic quality to her gaze, a depth in her eyes that makes it seem as though one could lose themselves in their darkness, like staring into the stars on a moonless night. She stands tall, poised, with a graceful flick of her tail, exuding the kind of beauty that cannot be ignored. She begins her speech with a yawn, as if the conversation is of little consequence to her, though she knows full well the importance of the moment. With a voice dripping with practiced indifference, she addresses Bastet. "I have been a guest in the pharaoh's palace, the most honored guest one could imagine," she begins, her tone smooth and lazy. "I have been gifted with the finest treasures, the most delicate adornments. Gold necklaces drape around my neck, and silver and jade hang from my ears and tail. I dine from the pharaoh's own plate, my food served from a banquet of dreams. Whatever my heart desires, the palace cooks prepare for me." Her voice takes on a tone of unmistakable pride as she continues. "Each day, a maid brushes my fur 3,000 times, the soft bristles sending shivers down my spine that make me purr with delight. I rest in a high chair with a silk cushion at the dining table, and my every whim is catered to. The servants treat me like royalty, and I live in luxury beyond compare." She pauses, letting her words hang in the air. The silence that follows is heavy, the weight of her confidence filling the space. She turns slightly, casting a glance over her siblings, a glimmer of triumph in her eyes. "Of course, it is only fitting that I, the jewel of the palace, should lead the pharaoh to the field of offerings. Who else could possibly be more deserving?" Her siblings exchange quiet glances behind her back, unamused by her boasting. They know Bastet far too well to believe that such arrogance will win her favor. Iset's glossy coat and refined airs are impressive, but they are not the qualities Bastet values most. As Iset finishes her speech, her tail sways in satisfaction, though it's clear that her siblings are not impressed. Without a word, she shifts back into her wildcat form, her fur returning to its sleek, glossy sheen. Though none of her siblings admit it, there is no denying that she is as beautiful as she claims, her appearance as striking as the moonlit sky. But Iset's charm is not enough to sway Bastet. Mahes, the eldest, steps forward next, his presence commanding and unyielding. His body moves with a silent grace, though there is an undeniable power in his every motion. His muscles ripple beneath his skin, a testament to the strength that runs through him. His eyes, sharp and calculating, never waver. He is always alert, always watching, always ready. He stretches, every muscle unfurling in a display of physical prowess before he speaks, his voice low and steady, like the rumble of distant thunder. "I am the greatest hunter Egypt has ever known," Mahes declares, his words carrying the weight of his self-assurance. "No prey has ever escaped me. I know how to move unseen, how to blend into the shadows until the very moment I strike. I am the night, and in the darkness I thrive. No one knows patience like I do. I can wait for days, watching, waiting until the moment is right, and when I pounce, it is as though the very air bends to my will. I move faster than a shadow, quieter than a breath." He pauses, allowing his words to settle before continuing. The journey to the field of offerings is fraught with danger. The pharaoh will need protection. Who better than I to ensure his safe passage? I will guard him with the ferocity of the hunt, and nothing will stand in my way. His siblings listen, some with raised eyebrows, others with a snort of disapproval. They know Mahes's prowess, but they also know Bustet's heart. A protector, yes, but a killer? Perhaps not what their mother would want. With a swift movement, Mahis returns to his wildcat form, vanishing into the shadows of the temple. His presence lingers for a moment, like the last echo of a hunter's call before he is gone. Now, it is Armin's turn. His entrance is marked by a quiet calm, a contrast to the raw energy of his siblings. There is something almost dreamlike about him, as though he exists in a world separate from the one around him, a world of serenity and gentle peace. His movements are slow, deliberate, and even in human form, he curls up as if preparing to sleep, his legs tucking under his body like a cat in its most relaxed state. He blinks his eyes slowly, a soft smile playing on his lips as he speaks, his voice quiet and soothing like a lullaby. Long ago, he begins, his words filled with a sense of distant nostalgia. I was the lion. I roamed the lands, fierce and untamed. I was proud, arrogant even, certain of my own invincibility. I roared in defiance and the earth trembled beneath my feet. I fought, I conquered, and I terrorized all who crossed my path. Armand's eyes grow distant as he continues, recalling the fierce lion he once was. But one day, my pride led me here, to Bustet's temple. I had come to challenge her, to prove my strength. I wanted to break down her doors, to destroy her shrines, to show the world that I was the greatest. But the river, the Nile, held me back. It was a force beyond my understanding, and I was foolish enough to believe that I could conquer it. A flicker of humility crosses Armand's face as he recalls the moment of his defeat. I tried to cross the river, but Bustet's command stirred the waters. They raged against me, and though I fought, I was humbled. Soaked, exhausted, and broken, I finally reached the temple shores, and in that moment, I was no longer a lion, but a small, humbled creature. He pauses, his eyes softening as he speaks of the lesson he learned. I had learned the true strength of humility. From that day forward, I sought a peace over battle. I abandoned my arrogance and embraced quiet strength. And now, I would guide the pharaoh on his journey, not with force, but with a calm spirit, ensuring that he finds the peace he needs to pass into the afterlife. Armand's siblings, though they do not speak, exchange glances. They are unimpressed by his soft words, their thoughts divided. While his peace-loving nature is admirable, they cannot help but wonder whether it is enough to secure him the honor of guiding the pharaoh. After all, Bustet values strength in different forms. Perhaps a lion's roar has more weight than a lullaby. With a slow, graceful movement, Armand reverts to his wildcat form, his once grand lion's mane now a simple, well-groomed coat. He is no longer the beast that once terrorized Egypt, but a quiet, contemplative soul, ever at peace with himself. Then, Hatiru approaches. Her movements are slow, deliberate, like the rhythm of the sea, each step heavy and measured. Unlike her siblings, Hatiru does not seek to command attention. Instead, her presence is one of quiet authority, a figure of nurturing strength. As she moves into the center of the room, her round belly sways slightly with each step, a visible sign of the life growing within her. Her fur, marked with the stretch marks of motherhood, tells a story of change and growth. Hatiru places her hands gently on her belly, rubbing it in soothing circles as though calming the kittens inside her. When she speaks, her voice is soft but filled with determination. When the others left, I stayed, she begins, her words slow and measured. While my siblings went off into the world to chase their own destinies, I remained with our mother, tending to her temple. Each morning, as Ra's golden rays touched the earth, I would carry a candle through the temple, lighting every corner and bringing warmth to her sanctuary. She continues, her tone tender and filled with devotion. I cared for the effigies of Bustet, cleaning them, anointing them with sacred oils, and adorning them with fine silks. I prepared meals for our mother, offering her fruits and bread, ensuring that she was nourished. I cared for her as I would my own kittens, with love and tenderness. Hatiru's eyes meet Bustet's, her gaze full of affection and reverence. I will guide the pharaoh to the afterlife, as one mother guiding another. I will treat him with the same care I have shown our mother, for it is my duty and my honor to do so. I am a mother myself now, and I understand the value of protection, care, and devotion. Her siblings, though they do not speak, bristle at her words. They know Hatiru's love for Bustet is genuine, but they also understand that Bustet's affection for mothers is not necessarily the deciding factor in this decision. The journey to the afterlife is not one to be undertaken lightly, and Hatiru's current state, expecting kittens, may make her an unlikely candidate for such an important task. Hatiru lowers herself to the ground, her hands still cradling her belly. As she shifts into her wildcat form, she settles back with a look of quiet pride. Her siblings now watching her in silence, each of them waiting for their mother's decision. The temple falls into a heavy silence as each of Bustet's children waits for their mother's decision. The sound of the outside celebration, the chanting of the worshippers, the rhythmic beat of drums, the smell of incense wafting through the air, fades into the background. In this moment, the only thing that matters is the choice that will shape the pharaoh's path into the afterlife. Serapis, the youngest, steps forward now. His approach is quiet, almost unnoticed by the others, who had long written him off as insignificant. They do not expect him to say anything of importance. After all, he has never sought the limelight, never fought for attention the way his siblings have. He is the smallest, the meekest, the one who has always been overlooked. But today, as the silence stretches on, Serapis speaks. His voice is soft, almost apologetic, as though he fears his words might disturb the peace that hangs thick in the air. "I am not like the others," he says quietly, his eyes downcast as if he already knows that his words are not the ones anyone wants to hear. "I am the youngest, the least experienced. I have no great stories to tell, no grand adventures to recount. I have never lived in palaces, nor have I hunted in the wild like the others. I have no accolades to boast, no prizes to show for my life." He pauses, a nervous flutter in his chest, but he presses on, his words gaining strength. "I have spent my time in the streets, listening to the chatter of the humans, observing their lives. I have learned from the street cats, from those who scavenge and survive in the shadows. I have learned humility, and I have learned patience, but I have not yet made a name for myself." Serapis shifts uncomfortably, but he continues. "I know I am not ready to guide the pharaoh to the field of offerings. I am not as bold or strong as my siblings. I do not have their power nor their grace, but I am willing to learn. I have much to discover. Perhaps one day I will be worthy of such an honor, but for now I ask only that you allow me to remain in the shadows, to watch and learn." His words hang in the air, and for a moment there is only silence. The others stare at him, and despite their earlier dismissals, they are struck by something in his voice. A quiet sincerity, a humility that they had not expected. And then, to their surprise, Serapis reverts to his wildcat form, the transformation almost imperceptible. His small, delicate frame curls up in the corner of the room, not as the runt of the litter, but as a presence to be reckoned with in his own quiet way. His siblings, though they still carry the weight of their pride, recognize something in him now. They may have overlooked him in the past, but not anymore. As the tension in the room grows, all eyes turn to Buste. She watches her children with a gaze that is both knowing and loving. She has heard their speeches, observed their actions, and now it is time to choose. And Busted, ever the wise and loving mother, knows that the answer has always been clear. She has been waiting for the one who truly understands the journey ahead. Not one who boasts of their grandeur, not one who seeks to prove their strength, but one who understands the importance of humility, patience, and devotion. With a flick of her tail, she rises from her resting place, her divine form glowing with a soft light. Her voice, when it comes, is low and resonant, carrying with it the weight of eons of wisdom. "You are all worthy in your own ways," she begins, her gaze sweeping over each of her children. "But none of you are perfect. I have watched you all, and I know your hearts." She looks at Iset first, her eyes soft but firm. "You are beautiful, Iset, and your life of luxury has made you bold. But beauty and vanity do not lead a soul to eternity." Then her gaze turns to Mahes, her eyes narrowing slightly. "You are a fierce protector, Mahes, and your strength is unquestionable. But strength without compassion cannot guide the way." She looks to Arman next, her voice gentle. "You have found peace, Arman, but peace without purpose is a quiet surrender, not a guiding force." Hatiru is the next to receive her gaze. "You are devoted, Hatiru, and your care for me is without question. But motherhood is not the only path to wisdom, and you must know that." Finally, Busted's eyes land on Serapis, the smallest of her children. "And you, Serapis, are the one who has truly understood what is needed. You are humble, patient, and willing to learn. It is not your strength that I seek, nor your beauty, but your heart." The room is still, and in that moment, it is as if time has stopped entirely. Serapis, his small frame still curled in the corner, looks up at his mother, his eyes wide with surprise. He had never expected this. He had never sought the honor, nor believed he was worthy of it. And yet, Busted's voice rings out, soft but full of purpose. "You, Serapis, will guide the pharaoh to the field of offerings. You understand that the journey is not about grandeur, but about the quiet strength that comes from within. You will lead him with patience, humility, and a heart that knows what it means to care." The other siblings are stunned into silence. Iset, Mahes, Arman, and Hatiru all stand motionless, their eyes fixed on Serapis, who rises slowly from his spot, his heart swelling with a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. As Busted's children stand together, ready to watch the pharaoh's procession unfold, They know that the future will be shaped not by their strength, beauty, or prestige, but by their willingness to embrace what they have learned. The journey to the afterlife is not one of power, but of wisdom, and it is Serapis who has shown that he understands this better than any of them. The temple is still once more, as the procession approaches and the stars above flicker like the eyes of the gods themselves.